morning and welcome back to the Beef and Barnzy Independence Day review. And it's by far Beef's favorite holiday.
Treason Day. You guys are welcome for the language.
And that's all we got out of it. But, hey. We were talking the other day, and what was it that you said? It was fairly hysterical about along those same lines about what we got out of this deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing that I found for you was that meme about the cat watching the fireworks.
Because it sounds like that was very accurate in my house.
I am team cat, and Chris is 100% team dog, and Linda lives somewhere in between the two. So I found a meme. Huh?
She's on team all.
Yeah. I found a meme that had a cat watching fake fireworks or whatever, and it says, "My cat's watching the fireworks while your bitch ass dog's hiding under the bed." So that was a tick in the cat column. There's plenty of ticks in the dog column. Don't worry.
No, I think she basically had to medicate our dogs to
bastards.
They had plenty of fireworks and
I did text Linda after she said, "Yeah, we medicated him." I said, "Yeah, I don't really understand what there is to celebrate in not being British." So
only one of us is living not in our home country.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
Here's opposite. This is opposite day. The cat was scared, but the dog was just fine. That's not normally the way it works, is it? Well, let's see. Over the weekend, we had quite a few things going on. You had a good weekend.
Oh, Stoney, bowling greats, bowling great and stew. Yeah. I had a really nice weekend. Saturday we had a birthday party over at the house for Tina's sister. Tina's friend Latoya, if you've ever met her, is the life and soul of the party. And when she was combined with Maria, it was a very good time. The girls had the karaoke going. It was a little bit like a school dance because we had the doors shut to our TV room, media room, whatever you want to call it, and we were watching the basketball, and the girls were singing. So yeah, it was a good time. And then I guess I gained the positivity from that, and I decided to go over to Houston, and I actually left the city of Houston with more money than I went in with, which is about the second time ever. So yeah, good weekend about the NDO. Qualified second. I shot a 300. UC2. Let's go. And that meant that with the way the scenario went down, I was seeded into the top 4. I took care of business in the first match, and then I played my 2021 nemesis, Mr. Sean Maldonado. He took care of me for, I think, the 3rd time in a final this year. But thankfully for me, I'm only playing him in finals rather than semifinals. So, yeah. So, good day all around. Made a few bucks out the Calcutta. Made a little bit more out of brackets. Side pots were very nice because how about this for a set? 269, 201, 211, 300. Was good, real good for side pots.
Yeah, not so good for brackets.
Brady needs to eat. There you go. So, because William was suggesting I needed to take Sunday off. I told Tina that I might take Sunday off because England were going to be playing in the Euro 2020 final. Tina looked at me and was like, fuck you are. So, yeah. So, anyway, well, I'll probably see everybody in Colleen on Sunday.
There you go.
So, yeah, you had a less than exciting trip to Odessa based on the previous week.
Yeah, I bowled miserable. If you can say that and finish 7th. But yeah, pretty much. Yeah, shortish pattern, 38 feet, 3.73 to 1 officially. They might have got there towards the end. It got a little bit flattish. And I've just done way too much.
If anybody is friends with my wife or me on Facebook, you might have seen that video last night. Brady demolishing a slice of pizza that was from a 16 or an 18-inch piece of pizza, a pie. So, yeah.
Just knocked it out. Yeah, I just got caught a couple of times on the lighter volumes hooking the front, and I tried to trick them a little bit, and really, I just need to take good balls and just throw the ones that make sense and just bowl. And I got myself down a rabbit hole that cost me, I don't know, 300 or 400 pins on day 2, and I tried to climb out of it, but the week before, every time I needed a hit, I got a hit. And this week, every time I needed a hit, the head pin went in front of the 10, or a 9-pinned, or a 7-pinned, or a 10-pinned again. And I basically didn't get any of those hits this time. And so the old thing where it all evens out, she all evened out all in a row. So,
but in hindsight, having the breaks the week that you were in a bowling center that was paying twice as much money and a place where you quite like, probably the better combination.
Yeah, it's always great when you look back and have a perfectly rational view. I just don't have that when I'm actually.
Yeah, you've just got red ass.
Yeah, pretty much. So...
No, I get it. I get it completely. And the thing is I think we're both naive to think that the two things are not mutually exclusive. Like the fact that you were fortunate in Lubbock had no bearing whatsoever on you being unfortunate in Odessa. We just like to think that that's the way the world works. It doesn't.
Yeah.
And that's why the really good bowlers don't get perspective of, well, it was okay last week.
No.
They just don't.
No.
I tend to, but I'm a bit of a toe. So,
well, I did have a conversation with Ryan at some point in the middle of it, because he hung out again, and this might be the first time that I didn't make a show or win when he was around. And I said, if you can take my strategies and versatility, whatever stuff, and the bowling part of it, and then add your mom's psychology to it, and being not insane, they're not a part of you. And
no, definitely, yeah. I mean, it's it's very hard when you're in those situations to be philosophical about it, and it's even more hard when you feel like you have an opportunity to win. And you should be doing better. You get very frustrated. Everybody is in the same position, no matter what level you're bowling at.
Yeah.
You're in that scenario. It's like, hey, my problem is I get more and more fried the worse the situation, the lower the prize fund or the lower the situation is. I go and bowl in San Antonio. I don't strike out in the 10th. The guy gets the miracle double and I punch a chair. We're bowling for $500, Stu. Take a breath.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult.
The money part has never mattered about how much I dislike But sometimes it's worse.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it's definitely worse.
Yeah.
The frustration just becomes way over the top.
By the way, if you have Flow Bowling, watch the semifinal match. I guarantee you have not seen a match that has more crazy momentum swings than that one. Brad Angelo bowls Amleto Monticelli. It was kind of the marquee match in the stepladder. Brad's just coming off of 279 with basically 11 no doubt strikes and a ring 10. And this thing, I can't even describe, but if you have it, that one is the one to watch.
I actually was going to bring that up with you because this is actually the second time in a row that Brad has had perfect ball reaction on the show. Not second time in a row, but the second time this season where he's had perfect ball reaction on the show. I think he shot, did he shoot 299 at the tournament that was in the guy's basement?
Yeah, in Chesapeake. Yeah.
And then he shot nothing his next match. And you've been on more shows than most people alive. So did you ever go through a situation where you found yourself where you would attack the lanes and it's hard to decide to break the lane down while trying to win a match. But at the same time, did you ever feel like you got yourself into that situation where you kind of bowled yourself out of reaction?
Yeah, a couple of times. In this case, actually, there was a little bit of reason because Dan, who I call Don Knowlton when he bowls well, Don led, but he was throwing a 1990 Purple Hammer. And so he got shots before that semifinal match. Not a ton, but Brad was certainly on the warpath about how much he disliked it. And that it was going down the lane. And so I think it had maybe more mental impact than physical. Certainly the 8 or 10 shots you get before the title match would have had way.
Oh, definitely.
Because that real urethane, I mean, as much as urethane can push it down the lane anyway, the real one that doesn't flare really does.
Yeah.
And so, but I do think for the most part, all it really did for either one of those two guys, instead of increasing left because there was already left on the lane, it actually just made it go light.
Right.
And so, but to answer your other question, though, yes, several times before. And sometimes you get into a match, and he was bowling Ronaldo Sebelin, and I think he felt like he was supposed to win that match, although it was a really good, high-scoring match the whole time. And then Amleto gave him a break, and, I mean, it was shocking. I thought it was over when Amleto gave him an early break, and it turned into basically a you have it match for a little while. And but I have done that. I've got myself out of rhythm a little bit. At one point in last week, when I had the front 9 at Learn, there was a thought that went through my head about if you shoot 300 here, it's going to be really hard to start off the next match good because your adrenaline goes flying, and then you have to kind of settle back in with no more practice shots. And having done that before, the last time I shot 300 and then shot about 212 the next game at Belmo in the final. So,
yeah, I mean, the last time when we've all had one.
Yeah, there was a few guys that were, you hear on the regular tour, those guys really don't like it.
Yeah, I mean, I had a fry at my teammate in league on Tuesday night over it. We're bowling on Bear, and it was good. So at the end, he goes, I don't know what happened. I go, Brian, if you're going to use urethane, don't fucking miss right for the whole of practice.
Yeah, you got to go high. If you're gonna,
I'm like,
if nothing else, just pocket or left of that.
Yeah, and then when you bring your reactive ball out, don't be scared of getting it to the right because it doesn't hook. I was in a bad mood. I wasn't feeling great, and Brady was feeling a bit sick on Tuesday night. It kind of been a long day, Tina ended up not going to bowl because of it, and then I bowled 150 the first game of the Sport League. And I'll be honest with you guys out there, I hate Sport League. Hate it with a passion. It's just not fun. I understand why people enjoy it. I'm just not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. I thought Dan made a very. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, does most venues, not pro events, choose an everyday house pattern to use? How much does the center decide what to use? When you're just doing local events, yeah. I mean, it depends. Oh, Brian's watching. I'm not bringing Urethane tonight. It says, it really depends, because some people market their event of it's not going to be a house shot, and that brings in a certain type of clientele, so to speak. And then other people just say, we're doing the fine china. I think the only time tournaments shoot themselves in the foot a little bit is if they say one thing and do the other, or they don't say anything, so everybody just assumes it's going to be the house shot, and then you get there and it's something completely different.
Yeah.
I don't think that's. It doesn't really matter if you tell exactly what pattern's going to be. That doesn't really matter.
Seems to be the magic.
What's that one?
Modified house pattern.
Yeah, the US Open's a modified sport pattern as well. Sorry, a modified house shot as well. They took all the oil from the middle and they put it in the track. I mean, modified is the dumbest phrase in the world. Every pattern in the world is a modified house shot. It's just some of it's small modifications and lots of it's a rebuild.
Yeah, lots of it's really modified.
Just one. If you're all interested, there's a tournament coming up in November in Alexandria. 10,000 for first place. Shoot me some more details, and then we can let people know about it. We like money, so we're always interested. Just let us know what the details are.
For sure. And I was going to say that Dan bowled in Lubbock. Dan, I wish I was a good artist, because I was telling Ryan, I said I would make a caricature of Dan with his glasses sitting behind the desk. Yes, I'd like to make $1.372 million this year, and then have a caricature of Don, from the back, just I would have bowled, where you can make $21,000 for the year if you really bowl good. And but for a guy who's basically been on a second show, he looked pretty calm. I spoke to him for a minute afterwards. He was like amped up a little bit, so he's a little bit firm. So he just moved into it, played. He had reactive and urethane options, and he kind of went with the Walter Ray thing. And because his floor was basically 225 when he used it, and his good games were still 270, and so. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as pretty going through the pins all the time, but it was very effective, and basically he just peppered the pocket nonstop. And he rammed down on Leto when Leto wasn't really catchable for most of us in the field at all. And as a matter of fact, it sucked so much that it didn't even dawn on me that someone could run him down. I thought,
no, 100%. I didn't even realize. I saw the scores and it said Amleto versus Brad in the semifinal. I'm like, what?
Yeah. The last two games, he just went down. He just kept closing the gap and kept it tighter and tighter. And I was obviously busy looking at the fifth place number, so I didn't notice as much. But some of those urethane pairs and Leto didn't like very much, and some of the pairs in the middle, those middle four, were a little tricky, like they are when we bowl the regional anyway. And he just kept getting a little bit here, a little bit there, and then you get a win versus a loss plus another 30 pins, and pretty soon it was close, and they rolled a head-to-head match and got there.
I think that people underestimate that, the value of knocking over the front, the 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Because most times when you bowl a shit game, it's because you either leave the 3-pin with some friends or the 2-pin with friends.
Yeah. You want to know how to have a low spare percentage? Shoot 3 or 4 of them on a regular basis.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are.
No, but that's the thing. Like, of all the shit games I've ever bowled in my life, I would say for me, 80% of them have involved the 2-10 combination a lot. but probably 15% of the rest of them have involved the 3-4. There aren't that many times you bowl a really bad game when you're not leaving the 2 or the 3 pin on a regular basis.
He owns pro shops. He owns auto glass. He's actually John Gaines's boss. And I thought for a little while, man, I wonder if Gaines thought, yeah, my boss is going to have a PBA title before I
do. Here's a pretty good question from Anthony. Being a novice bowler, how does urethane ruin the shot? It doesn't necessarily ruin the shot. It just makes the transition quicker of the oil going down the lane. Because if you imagine with a reactive ball, even though it's really quick, the reactive ball absorbs oil even a little bit, but really quickly. And when the ball goes down the lane, because reactive balls flare more, it tends to be on a different track, a fresh piece of the ball. Whereas the urethane, especially the old school urethanes that don't flare very much, the ball is rolling on the oil it's taking the oil down the lane. So when your ball gets to like 40 feet and it's supposed to be on a dry piece of lane, it is on a dry piece of lane, but it's not on a dry piece of ball, if that kind of makes sense. So then the oil, because it doesn't get absorbed at all in the urethane, it transfers from the ball back onto the lane, and that can stretch the pattern somewhat.
And furthermore, on top of that, the absorption thing, because some balls really flare, and so, well, if they flare that much, then they shouldn't actually track it down. But the other thing urethane balls do, because they don't absorb, is they don't pick it up. They just plows in front of it. And so that's why I think it actually also carries down much faster. Yeah, every ball that goes down the lane changes the lane. Just that reactive does it by generally picking it up off the front, and urethane does it by pushing it from the front to the back. And so it just transitions differently than what people are used to seeing. And reactive balls are just that. They're very reactive. And so when you put oil in the back end of a lane that is normally bone dry for 20 feet, it doesn't take very much oil to make that reactive ball that you're used to making a giant move, make a little move, and then the PBA butterfly comes
out. Yeah, I mean, the one other thing, and probably 90% of the time you don't need to worry about this, but urethane often has, especially in the professional terms, has a lot more surface on it. So sometimes it's not either of those scenarios. It's just that the fronts just get beaten up a lot because the ball's so rough when it's hitting the front part of the lane. And then you get your ball check and skid. So there's a few things, but in general, it's just because the oil gets pushed down.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. I thought there was something up here a little bit earlier. I did get some info on that tournament that's in the Deep South Scratch Shootout in Alexandria. $10,000 guaranteed, $48,000 prize fund, November 19th, 20th, and 21st. The finals will be a 64-man bracket, single elimination, best 2 out of 3 match play. $230 a squad if you prepay, $275 if you walk in. And you can put a deposit down. It takes $100 to secure an entry with a deposit.
So there we go. Zach bowled a prime with you. He said he loved it. He stayed and watched most of the event until the stepladder. Missed all the fun.
Yeah.
Well, you made a pretty good run that last block. Don says, when are we bowling again? I might be bowling on Sunday, but PBA regional competition the weekend after for me in Fort Sill. And then the weekend after that, we're back on the big boy tour. Lubbock. It goes Lubbock, Lucy, our friends at Hijinks in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And then I believe there's going to be a regional in the midweek. And then we're going to Coldwater, Ohio. So that's kind of taking care of the next month and a half.
2 more in between there. So
yeah, Chris has some
Lubbock, Hammond, Lucy, Grand Rapids, then Jonesboro, regional Coldwater, and probably Chesapeake.
See, Andy Patterson said Fort Sill equals hot. See, Andy, my main issue is when the bone center is like in the in-between. I either want it properly cold or basically the air conditioning completely broken. And here's my theory behind it. I'm fat. I'm way more used to sweating than the skinny guys. So if it's so hot that the skinny guys have to sweat, they suddenly have something that they're not used to. So advantage Stu. I understand how to deal with it. I understand how to move on with it. Advantage Stu. When it's in the in-between and it's not cool enough to keep me from sweating, but it doesn't affect them, that's when I don't like it. We bowled one year. I think it was Madrid. The air conditioning was broken. It was 105 outside. Led the squad by 90. The skinny guy's just not used to sweating. Not used to being sweat on the approach. You stick every now and again. It's just the way it is.
Yeah. Let's see. What was...
It is a talent dealing with sweat.
Here's a quick question from Casey Custer. Do you think urethane is more effective than short pin to PAP? A mix of both, and feels if urethane is more effective?
Yes.
I believe in general it's a little bit rev rate dependent, but if you have the entry fee required to get urethane to knock the corner pins over, urethane is generally easier to control, and the continuation, what it does, the shape it does make, it makes for a much longer time. So,
Jeremy says, I don't know that I'm going to go to the Chesapeake. I'm still very much on the
10 pins and more.
Yeah, I'm figuring that might be the option. There you go. Another one of my fellow sweat guys. Stoney says, hashtag fluffy. Regina says, us women of a certain age feel you. William says, so I need to make the air in between for Sunday. Yeah, I'm not sure the air is the problem.
I
just think
I see you this weekend.
Huh?
We might have to come down and see you this weekend.
Yeah, I think you should. I'd see if you can convince William to put a bounty on. He was talking about putting a bounty on my head. He'd be real sad if we were bowling the final and we just chopped the bounty. Unlucky.
So Stoney, in the comments, tell us how good was your 4th of July sale at Platinum Ford? You guys wreck them this weekend?
Yeah. They might have done so well they took the day off.
There you go. Better to buy a used car or a new car?
It seems like at the minute it's better to trade in your used car. There's a lot of money for them at the minute, by all accounts. But it's a bit like houses. It's cool, but you've got to have a plan to be able to have something to drive.
Yeah, the other side's
It's like, well, I could sell my house, but it doesn't seem like I could buy a house. And if you jump off the carousel right now, you might be in real trouble.
Yeah, even rent's high now.
Yeah.
People are renting houses, want their guys to move out so they can just basically jump the rent. It's just going everywhere. It'll be interesting to see that July 30th, the forbearance thing ends. And by all accounts, there's still maybe 2 million houses under that plan that I don't imagine all of them are going to be able to make payments. And so it'll be interesting to see what that does to the housing market. So
there you go. Huge in all 10 locations.
Never been worth more. There we go.
Alan Riley followed it up.
Yeah, of course.
Frugal. Cheap's an aggressive word. Frugal.
Cheap's not far
off. How good is the alert? Well, I don't do good or bad. It's a useful piece above the UC2. I use the UC2 a lot, so for me, it's definitely a good complement. It's earlier, and like I say, it produces a different shape down the lane. And to be honest, it was a shape I didn't really have, where it's got this kind of the fast motion and then kind of standing up. I quite like that option in the bag. Like I was saying to Chris last week, I think that I am going to drill another one and go with a pin down layout, so I can see a slightly different shape. But yeah, I feel like those three balls, if you're carrying a lot of bowling balls like I do, I feel it goes in this order for me. Alert, then the UC2, and then below that I have the code, the dart code. I have a little bit more service on my UC2 than I do on the dart code, so that maybe makes the gap a little bigger. But that's what that's definitely what I went with. Yeah. Stoney is
I like where his head's at here. I'm liking it. She's using that 150.
I'm sure that Ryan isn't down for that.
50,000 miles on it. So
Ryan isn't in that plan.
Oh, well, as his backer.
John says, Chris, any idea why the field was smaller this week after you stayed in Texas?
Yeah, there's actually a couple. It's disappointing, but a couple of good reasons. It actually ended up being, I guess, maybe 12 or 13 less. One, Walter pulled a groin muscle. Pete was ill and ended up going back home. But you had a couple things going on. One, that tour is very much about guys they bowl because they want to bowl, not because they're trying to make a living. So being a holiday weekend, some guys just went back. The Firecracker SASBA, which has been going on for 25 or 30 years now, was also that weekend, and there was more than 60 entries in the 50 to 59 division by itself. So I'm sure that pulled a fair amount of entries back as well. So between the two, I mean, that's the only logical reasons. It would have been nice to have 100, plus person fields and in one of the best bowling states in the country. So it was a little disappointing from that standpoint that more people didn't show up, especially as many checks, when they pay that many $1,000 checks, it's not.
Stoney said his vacation request was denied. I spoke to Haug and he said that he couldn't find a roommate for that trip, and he priced it out, and it got a little bit pricey. So he decided to give it a miss and just have a couple of weeks off. So that's what he went with. I guess it is what it is. When we have some guests involved, good question. We've got to figure out a time to get Verity on. It's my fault. I've been lazy. I guess I feel like we're more entertaining than we probably are. But yeah, Thursday's probably going to be a little rough because I'm doing a 11-hour demo day at Junior Gold. So if you're in the Indianapolis area, head out. William said he's still waiting for his phone call to be a guest. I mean, I appreciate you, William, but I'm not sure the host of the Stuart Williams benefit fund is really that big an interest for most people. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Ryan. Dad says he'll pay all the taxes and registration if you shoot 300 at the Ironman. Of course I will, because I'll be driving it.
He'll also be looking to see what the options are on upgrades for the F-150.
Yeah. And what kind of trade-in I can get on a 2013 Explorer with 150,000 miles.
Since Kyle took over the lead at Nationals at team, maybe you could try and get him on. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I try to, like, the problem is as well, this year, the same people have won everything. So how many times can I have Kyle or Frankie on? Like, it just, I don't know. It's just a little difficult with that.
Here we go. Who's your partner at the Lucy?
Birgit Noranks.
Which is formerly Poplar.
Yeah, formerly Lucy champion.
Yes. And my partner is Daria Kovalova.
Yep, Daria Kovalova, the tournament winning machine. She's been racking them up recently.
She's been getting her done, that's for sure. So very much looking forward to that. As usual, the best tournaments of the year.
So offensive comment of the day. Keep it up. America. We're Ford. We're a Ford show here.
Yes, very much so. Judging by that rod, I saw right through a pan earlier today.
Darren, what about having D-Tang on? Yeah, I mean, it's another option. He wasn't particularly he didn't go with our vibe, shall we say, the one time we had him and Chris on. I gave him the layup question of all time, and I'm still disappointed by the answer. If you won $1 million, what would you? If you won a lottery win of $1 million tomorrow, what would you do with it? And their response was invest it. Not really what I was looking for, boys. I mean, I understand that you're not necessarily going to say hookers and blow, but at least be a little bit like inventive with it. Come on, come on.
Actually, I believe EJ is partnering with his wife this year.
Is he? I thought he was born with Danielle.
Who knows? Okay, I don't know.
I think that Liz is born with Simo because that's what they arranged for last year.
I got you.
And they were just going to do it one time. So,
how'd you get your partner?
Sterna dumped her.
Wow. Okay. And mine's I was bowling with another Barnes, and she didn't want to bowl with me either, and so I ran out of Barnes. She didn't want to bowl with me, and so no, actually, Josie's sister's getting married on that weekend, of course, and so she let me know right up front, and so I started checking around, and Daria bowled Simonelli last year, and Simonelli's not really bowling this year, so she checked in with him, and he was like, I don't know, and so she told him what was up, and he was like, yeah, you should go ahead. So I get to upgrade for a year. I am on Dallas Leong watch. I probably get one swing here, and if I don't hold it up, she can pick whichever top 5 guys she wants to bowl with next year.
Sterna made a business decision. I think he made a lifestyle choice. I don't think he necessarily made a business decision. Who else? So yeah. All right. Well,
one other thing, we had some Team Masters winners last week.
Oh,
one of the biggest junior tournaments in the nation, and mean, first of all, Brooklyn Buchanan, complete domination. She won by 636 pins. She not had to pull the last game. She had to pull the last 3 games. she mopped the entire field and ran away with it. The guys' side was a lot closer, with John Nunn winning at plus 955. Wow, nice job with my writing. Michael Harmon Jr., 893. And a name we're probably going to hear a little bit more of, Brandon Bone, the one that takes after his father on the port side at 883. And so that one came down literally to the last frames before it got secured. For those of you who don't know, the Team Masters has their own ball. It's basically a low-tech version that does not flare much, does not particularly hook a lot, and they don't put a ton of oil in the lane either, and just let you go after it. And there's a lot of people think that we should probably do that on tour at some point. I don't know. I guess if we didn't need sponsors from bowling companies, that might work. But
Tim's talking about me, though.
Well, it's not any different. It's the same story, actually. So
well, yeah.
Bowling, so she didn't have to bowl with me.
That's what I was saying. At least Linda went, and it wasn't quite as cold blooded with it. Tina got rid of me and got somebody else. So, yeah. I did have one other thing, but it has somewhat skipped my mind. Junior Gold.
Yes.
So Junior Gold's coming up. I believe it's already started. I was a little confused by the whole deal because I'm doing a autograph signing on Saturday, which was the registration, which to me made it feel like that should have been before, but it seems like that's after. I don't really understand. But yeah, for all those guys going out there, I think that the one thing that I would try and get across to you is patience. Understand what, you've got the 5 balls that you've got to choose, make your choices, commit to where you think they fit, and then make the logical changes from those 5 balls. Don't just be guessing when you want to make a change. Have it kind of in your mind what they do. Take a deep breath and just, get after it.
And don't have 5 balls that all hook the same, or even 3.
Yeah.
Sure, they actually do something. Basically, in how I look at it, they all hook at different distances. So if you're such a big play now, that covers, the dry end, heavy control kind of thing. Maybe your earliest ball, then get one that's a little further. You have a big reactive, a middle benchmark type ball, and then one ball that probably can take advantage of the few times where Junior Gold breaks down and turns into where you can get some score. So.
Yeah, I mean, if I was doing it, I was thinking about this. If I was doing it, I'd have Ice Storm, Pitch Black, Phase 2, UC2, and a Reality. That would be my 5, because I feel like the lane would never get broke down enough that I couldn't just use the UC2 when I moved left.
It's not long blocks.
No, I think they're 5-game blocks. So that would be the 5 I would go with. I know that you would probably have an extra reactive option and you wouldn't have your spare ball.
Yeah, a decent chance I would use the urethane as a spare ball, and then wouldn't, like I say, Reality, Zen, possibly Phase 2, and then something that's Centipede is kind of a choice as of late, or an Emerald like you kind of thing. One ball that's a little bit
4-game blocks.
Wow. Yeah, the Emerald wouldn't even come into play at that point.
Especially given the fact that a large proportion of the field probably aren't going to be completely destroying the lane either.
No.
So yeah, that would be the way I would do it, especially with Junior Gold, where the scoring pace is lower. I feel like that I would get more back from my spare ball than I would from having another ball. Having 4 balls, I feel like for me, most of the time is going to be, especially in 4-game blocks, is probably going to be plenty. And knowing that the 1 ball for sure that's going to match up is my spare ball, because it matches up on everything.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. But
and that is a tournament too, that if you're in between and you're not sure if you can use a spare ball or a urethane ball as a spare ball, then take the spare ball.
Yeah.
You're definitely going to use the spare ball. So
yeah,
100%. Spare ball makes you a lot more money there than anything else.
Oh yeah, one other thing, competition update.
Yes.
I was lazy over the weekend. I didn't get all the details across to my website guy. It would have been very easy for me to just blame him because he's nameless and faceless. But that wouldn't be fair. It was completely on me. I sent him over the details last night, so we will get the relevant website up to you guys. And you'll probably receive an email if you've entered one of our competitions before from Bowler's Mart, giving you the link. Click on it, take a guess. The first video is going up Friday. We will
twice.
Sorry,
you can enter twice.
Yeah, you can enter twice. I think that we're going to do the deadline as the following Friday, but I might extend that a little bit till the Monday after that. But the date will be up there on the website of when you basically have a couple of weeks to enter. And you'll probably get to see maybe 1 or 2 videos. Then you'll be good. John Stenger says, congrats on the 300 this weekend. Thank you. Which ball do you feel is better, Zen or Reality? If I'm bowling at Lightning Strikes, one of our sponsors, right there, then it's not even a contest. The Reality is significantly better because I don't know if you know this, but I bowled 588 there for 2. And then I broke them down so well that Chris shot 300 as well on that same pair with the Reality.
Yes.
But I think that both balls are great. It really depends on what you want to bowl on. We were bowling on 46 feet Shark, I think it was, or 46-foot pattern anyway. Yeah. And the Reality just matched up fantastic there. But there's been other times, plenty of other times, where the Zen's matched up really well. And if you actually look at the Tournament of Champions this year, if you look at some of the qualification blocks, Simonson used both the Zen and the Reality, and so did Prather, and both of them bowled great. So I don't. There isn't really a better or worse. I would say that more people would probably get more use out of the Zen because it's more of a middle ball. But I think both products are awesome. Robert says hello. Hello, sir. How are we doing? Yeah, I've been to Lightning Strikes once, and I bowled 300 once, and I got paid for mine.
Yeah, if you would go to YouTube, click subscribe, and then you'll get an update when those matches happen, and you can see the bowlers fall. There will be cut down into, there'll be 2 matches inside of 15 minutes, so it's not a forever deal to watch it. And yeah.
And also, if you get over there, I will have the link in the description for where to enter. So
there you go.
We'll, yes, sir. $1,000, make you holler. It worked out pretty good for both me and Chris that day, though. We had we had our little corporation going on, so it worked out okay. We all did well out of our trips to Lightning Strikes, and Tom Doherty's not let me forget. Have you thanked me enough yet for telling you to go down and bowl that tournament?
He did help me out, but he also had me come and bowl that regional at Ascona, beat me by about 400. So I don't know.
Yeah, he organized that one. Yeah, that was sweet. Yeah, but at least you still bowled the finals. I didn't even make the finals of that one.
No, that was okay. The one after that I went the local tournament, just the one where he run me over. So,
yes, I did.
A little.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, 50%. All right, we'll leave you guys to it. Have a nice day. I'm going to be on the plane tomorrow, so everybody send good vibes. Football's coming home. Let's go, England. 2 more, baby. 2 more. Euro 2020, Chris. Euro 2020.
Sure. Yeah. I follow that as closely as I actually clicked on last night, and I didn't realize which 2 teams were in the Stanley Cup, let alone that Tampa Bay was up 3-0.
Yeah, but
they managed to lose.
Mine and Frankie's boys. Frank, I said, like Frankie says, I mean, Tampa Bay had to win 3 games for Montreal to win in 7.
On that note, and how about those small businesses, those centers? And when you get a chance, support the sponsors that support us, please. Storm, Rotogrip, Niner Global, Vice, Coolwick, 3G Shoes, Master, Bowler's Mart, Mark Baker, Bowling, Firelight Bowling Center, and Lightning Strikes. Until next time, we'll be coming at you from a couple different places probably, but keep a lookout for that new contest about ball versus ball competition. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy. God bless.
See you later.